Hello and welcome to Fight News Now Extra. I'm your host, John Pollock, and is there news to discuss in mixed martial arts? Of course there is, and we'll have John Ramdian and Robin Black on the show to discuss the latest on the main event for UFC 189. California issues a huge suspension to a Bellator fighter, and a number of welterweights play musical chairs on the undercard of 189. News came out on Tuesday, initially from the UFC Netherlands account, that UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo had suffered a rib injury and his status for UFC 189 would be in question. Nova União head coach Andre Pederneiras confirmed the news to the Combat outlet and said they will not make a decision until the results come back on Thursday to confirm a fracture of the rib. If the rib is in fact broken, it would halt Aldo's training and plans would have to be made to either postpone the fight or find a new opponent for Conor McGregor. John Hathaway will not be competing at UFC 189 after pulling out of his fight with Gunnar Nelson due to an injury. The UFC has changed around opponents, and now Brandon Thatch will be inserted into the opening spot to fight Nelson. Thatch was already scheduled to fight John Howard on the same show, but SBG fighter and Conor McGregor teammate Kyle Pendred has stepped in and will fight John Howard on the card. Pendred just fought in Mexico City earlier this month, defeating Augusto Montaño by a unanimous decision. And the latest fighter to receive a harsh suspension for performance-enhancing drug use is 31-year-old Alexander Shlemenko. The former Bellator middleweight champion failed his post-fight drug test after his win over Melvin Manhoff this past February, and it was revealed he had a TE ratio of 50-1. Shlemenko was issued his punishment on Tuesday from the California State Athletic Commission and has been suspended for 3 years, fined $10,000, and his win over Manhoff has been changed to a no contest. We are back on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for a 1-hour preview show as John Ramdian, Robin Black, and myself will get you set for the card from Hollywood, Florida, featuring Lyoto Machida and Yoel Romero, and we will present the prelims on Fight Network at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with 4 fights from Florida. Here we are with John Ramdian and Robin Black and the entire mixed martial arts world. They're at the edge of their seat, just awaiting for the ball to drop. What is going to happen with the biggest fight, not just of this year, I think one of the biggest fights in UFC history. The resources that they have put into Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor, astronomical. And by the time people are watching this, maybe a verdict has come out, but Andre Pederneiras stating they're not going to make any judgment until Thursday when they know for sure it's a broken rib. That said, at the very least, this fight is in question that we can discuss at this point. What are the solutions? Because if you're the UFC, you're not just sitting back waiting for an answer from Jose Aldo's camp. You have to be preparing for the worst case scenario.
Can I jump in for a second?
Of course.
This is modern science. It takes 48 hours to do an x-ray? Anyone think anything? Isn't that weird?
Maybe they're fusing the rib particles together.
They're just trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to figure out the best solution right now because I have a feeling Jose Aldo is going to be out of this fight, and they're going to.
That's a reasonable expectation at the very least.
So, and Jose Aldo, the UFC is lucky because Jose Aldo hasn't been one of these vocal champions. Yeah, when it comes to certain topics, talking about the Reebok deal and the fighters' compensation, so on and so forth. But Jose Aldo is Demetrius Johnson makes more noise than Jose Aldo does, and that's Jose Aldo's fault. And because of that, Conor McGregor is the star of this main event. So I don't think that it really matters. Just like how people tune into Ronda Rousey, most people don't care who she's fighting. She's the star, like Conor McGregor's the star.
But this fight has that crunch to it.
Of course.
People want to see this fight.
The fight is money. The fight is money. Conor's money.
It's true. It's
but
true.
This fight is the peak of
it is. But if that doesn't happen, you know, Conor McGregor is going to continue to be a star, just like Chael Sonnen. After he sold it, loses to Anderson Silva, did people lose interest? No, because Chael Sonnen kept banging that pot. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Conor McGregor. If Jose Aldo can't compete in this fight, you give Conor McGregor a fight that he can absolutely win, but a fight that's going to be competitive. We talked about it on 5 rounds. Chances are he's going to ask for Frankie Edgar or Chad Mendes, and wait for Jose Aldo to get better to be healed.
But isn't this a scenario where this is not as if this guy is suffering from a career debilitating injury? It's a broken rib. Yep. He'll be out of action for a number of weeks. This is a fight that you have already pooled so much into. Is it worth just holding back? You have a big pay-per-view on Labor Day weekend.
You're going to make money anyways off of it. Conor's on the card. People are going to tune in. It doesn't
matter.
Not
at the level
They'll
with
weigh
Aldo.
it out. I don't know. They'll absolutely analyze it and weigh it out, and they have experts for that purpose. Someone will look and go, well, we have 4,000 Irish fans that have paid.
Yeah,
The venue sold this much. We're going to lose spillage of loss on the venue is going to amount to this much. The pay-per-view will drop this much. But when we do the pay-per-view next time, it can be even bigger. And they'll weigh it out.
It is a great point about the people that they were promoting the fact how many people were traveling for this fight.
That's true.
And that has to go into consideration, of course.
All of those will get waived.
We talked about Bellator's number last week. They peaked at 2.1 million. If you remember, Dennis Seaver and Conor McGregor did 3 point something. Jeez. So it does not matter who Conor McGregor's opponent is. Sure, everybody wants to see him fight for the title. That's going to happen down the road. You can't pull him off this card.
That's going to happen down the road unless he takes some fight that he's probably going to win and slips on a banana peel and you lose $1 billion. And that's the fear. And that's your side of this conversation is that worth it? We could bring in, 400,000 pay-per-views and make a whole bunch of money tonight. But if the banana peel thing happens, we don't get that $1 billion one with Aldo. I'm thinking of it from Conor McGregor's point of view, and he's probably, the dude seems incredibly mentally strong. But you are peaking for the key moment of your life. The moment you've been put on earth. What is it, July 12th? Is that 11th. July 11th. July 11th at 9:45, 10 o'clock Vegas time. Peaking for that moment of your life to be the greatest you. Everything is on point to go and express yourself and take what's yours. Oh, sorry, that's not happening. That's tough, man. That is really, really
I'm sure,
tough.
But he's going to be compensated because when we talk to him, it's not about any of that stuff. Of course, I'm here to express myself in my combat, but I'm here to get all the money possible.
Gold.
And yes, of course, the fight with Jose Aldo, he'll make the most money. But that's down the road. I go out, I smoke whoever it is, I take all of this money, and before year's end, if Jose Aldo's feeling good, I'm going to take all of that money then.
John Ramdine auditioning for Ballers on HBO. For Robin Black, John Ramdine, I am John Pollock. Stay tuned for more of Fight News Now Extra.